chasing the thrill in the dark corners where nightmares are real. Whispers and shadows, stories unfold, innocence lost and the secrets they hold. Reach out and touch cracks, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. Sensational headlines, the dramas you'll muse, capturing moments, the heartbreak you choose. Behind every story, a life to reclaim. Remember the human, not just the name. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. Spotlights glow, don't forget to breathe. Disconnect to reconnect, it's okay to leave. Step away, take a break, find some peace of mind. True crime and drama, but balance you'll find. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. More than stories that keep you up at night. Ground yourself, find the light, everything's alright. Reach out and touch grass, you'll be just fine. Breathe deep, step away, it's your time to shine. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, chasing the thrill in the dark corners where nightmares are real. Whispers and shadows, stories unfold, innocence lost and the secrets they hold. Reach out and touch cracks, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. Sensational headlines, the dramas you'll muse, capturing moments, the heartbreak you choose. Behind every story, a life to reclaim. Remember the human, not just the name. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. Spotlights glow, don't forget to breathe. Disconnect to reconnect, it's okay to leave. Step away, take a break, find some peace of mind. True crime and drama, but balance you'll find. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive. More than stories that keep you up at night. Ground yourself, find the light. Everything's alright. Reach out and touch grass, you'll be just fine. Breathe deep, step away, it's your time to shine. Reach out and touch grass, leave the screen, step outside. Reach out and touch grass, feel the earth, feel alive.
Breathe deep, the air is wide. Stretch your arms, let the world collide. Step outside where the grass is free. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find. Walk the path where the flowers lead. Hear the whispers of a world serene. Feel the warmth of a gentle breeze. Let your troubles drift with ease. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find. Walk the path where the flowers lead. Hear the whispers of a world serene. Feel the warmth of a gentle breeze. Let your troubles drift with ease. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find. Guitar hums in a mellow tune. Under the glow of the afternoon, every chord a soothing embrace, guiding you to a tranquil place. Watch the clouds as they roll and glide. Let the sun kiss your weary side. Take a moment, let it all unwind. Find the peace that's yours to find.
Well, I have to find my thingy. I don't know where my cover is. I found it. I think I found it. No, I didn't. I'm hidden, guys. I'm losing my mind. I don't know where I'm hidden. Oh, it's this. It's this. Hi. Oh my God. I couldn't. Yes, the dogs were over there. I had stopped earlier and got Taco Bell on the way home when I was coming home from the doctor. And yeah, so I set everything in the kitchen and I thought, okay, I'm gonna refill my tea and get me a bite of my Taco Bell. I got a bite and then I set it down on the stove to come back to it. They took it. So there went my Taco Bell. Anyways, welcome in. Hi, River Mata, Sheila, if you're new here. Yes, and we're here. Welcome to all our ducky families. And I have both of mine sitting back here today. We need our stressed ducks for today. Odd thing, my hair is down. Y'all know I don't ever have my hair down. Yes, the dogs, they took my my one taco off the stove where I set it. So I'll be finding me something else in a little while. It's okay. It was a good taco. I got one bite off of it. Good afternoon. No, it is evening. It is 10 o'clock. It's after 10 o'clock because my clock on my computer is wrong. I know it's after 10 o'clock. It says it's 10 o'clock. It's probably like 10:05, 10:06. My computer's off. Don't know why. It's February 12th. Tomorrow is going to be good. Friday the 13th. Look, my words aren't even worded. I sat on Hio's panel too long and my words are not worded anymore. You like my hair down? Well, thank you. Shih Tzu ate a whole damn pizza. They're bad about that. You know, that was one of the very first videos I ever posted on YouTube, was me taking cheese off of the burgers I was making. One of my other videos was him eating crawfish. So yeah, it's always crazy out there. It's always. So who else? Look, we got Southern Cats in the duck pond, and we have a Bellis. A witchy woman made it over, and Hio's always right here. And thank you for redirecting, Hio. I so appreciate that. That was very helpful. And Content Angel. Let me see if I miss anybody else. No, I was trying to move so fast. Oh, I see K-Swan in here. K-Swan usually goes to bed early, so I don't know. Oh, K-Swan's still here. See, look, I'm talking and not reading. You're not being restrained here. Yeah, this is my not being restrained hair. I'm used to my little poof, and I like my hair up. I don't know. It's just one of those things. So, dogs are noisy tonight. This is y'all's warning. Age of Aquarius. That's a song. You're here. Hannah's Wi-Fi is still fucked up. Hannah, fix your Wi-Fi. It's okay. We'll miss you if you're not here, though. Okay? If you hear this on replay, Hannah, I love you. I love you. You're my favorite troublemaker. It's the Taco Bell. It's the Taco Bell. Yes, that's what attracts the dogs. It's the Taco Bell. Okay, so tonight's going to be a little bit of a heavy night. Squirrel distraction. Damn. Live police chase. But we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with what we're doing tonight. Ooh, that was a squirrel moment. Born in February. All y'all Aquarius babies. That's what it is. Is that what it is? Born in February. Is that Aquarius? I don't know. I'm a Taurus. Born in May. Hannah's mad. I'm sorry, Hannah. I love you. No. Oh, you're in a different time zone. Yeah, and I don't do time zones. So if you ever see me post, I will tell you that it's going to be at 11 p.m. Central or 8 a.m. Central, because I don't do time zones. Denise was the very first one. Hey, Denise, if you get to see me on replay, miss you, girl. So she was the first one that tried to help me learn time zones, because I'm deficient in time zones. They don't work for me. They do not work for me at all. I'm not a time zone person. So anyways, tonight's going to be a rough night. We'll of course have our few little laughs and our good intros of something fun and different. We'll have the food, we'll have the dogs, and then we'll get into the heavy stuff. So with that, I'm going to roll the intro, and then we will get the show on the road.
Rubber around the model room welcomes all. Thanks for stopping by, answering the call. Ups and downs are normal for some of us. Many days I beg to get off this life bus. Neon lights flicker, my shadow on the wall. Dreams on the ceiling, we run and then we fall. Sharing stories over paper cups. Wheels keep turning but never enough. Life's a ride on a rickety old track, holding on tight, never looking back. In the rubber and motor room we confide, laugh, cry, love, and this crazy ride. Dusty postcards from the edge of
Olympic athletes love showboating.
We dance on tables without to wait, cry in the rubber and motor room, we're all high.
I need to add a bark warning to that, to my screen thing before we, when it scrolls through, because these children tonight are loud. They are loud. So we're going to start off. I couldn't find anything good food other than this one. This I thought was kind of cute.
Behind the scenes of the athletes. Olympic athletes love to show behind the scenes of the athletes' village on social media, especially when it comes to what they're eating, all of the food. U.S. men's curling team member Ben Richardson has been making waves online for his, shall we say, simple food reviews. Take a look.
Hello, my name is Ben, and I play on the USA men's curling team at the 2026 Olympics. Welcome to episode number 4 of Rating the Food at the Cortina Olympic Village. Today, we have the pasta.
So Ben says the pasta was...
I would have never, ever thought about all the different kind of foods and food stations that they would have at the Olympics for them to be able to pick through. It just never crossed my mind that they're going to get this whole buffet of foods.
Dry. The waffles were cold, but had some good flavor. And his all-time favorite has been the pizza. But the talk of the Olympic Village in terms of food is a dessert. The lava cake, the chocolate lava cake has been a hit. Everyone's been raving about it. Is this the chocolate muffin of the 2026 games? We shall see.
I want one of those muffins. So, as always, I'm going to drop the my regular, the 988 in the chat for if anybody ever needs assistance. That is a free way, call, text, all those things. We're going to start off. We're going to rewatch this. We did watch this yesterday. I wanted to start out with this again today, just to reiterate, there is now a law for Virginia Giuffre, and it is the Virginia law.
Flanked by victims of the late sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein, Virginia Giuffre's brother couldn't hold back the tears, speaking about legislation named for his late sister.
I want to begin with a single word. A word that meant everything to my sister. A word we will not stop fighting for until real justice is served. And that word is change.
I was recruited at a very young age.
Giuffre died by suicide last year. In a memoir published after her death, she accused Epstein of recruiting her into his sex trafficking ring when she was a minor working at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club, and then trafficking her to powerful men, including Prince Andrew, who denies the accusations and who has since been stripped of his royal titles. Virginia's law would remove time limitations for victims of sex trafficking to file civil lawsuits.
Which I think is absolutely wonderful, that we will not be putting a time limit on things. It should be brought out, and there should not be any time limit.
This bill will unlock the doors to the courthouse for the survivors and to every Epstein co-conspirator and sexual predator. We're coming for you.
Giuffre's former attorney urged lawmakers to pass the legislation.
It is heartbreaking to be here announcing this without her. But I will tell you that her voice is being heard loud and clear.
The recent release of 3 million pages of the Epstein Files has sent shockwaves across the world. The Democratic leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, highlighted a letter from 20 Epstein survivors who were outraged that the Justice Department had mistakenly published their names in the files, and even published nude photos of some of the victims before taking the images down, while at the same time redacting the identities of many powerful men.
Which we can all understand why, in this day and time, that's very offensive. So we're going to start off with Sarah Ransome. Sarah Ransome, this is a 3-year-old video. This is from 3 years ago. She is a survivor of Epstein, and she's going to discuss her story. So, and my dogs are being very loud, so y'all have had that warning. There's nothing I can do about them.
I have worked very, very, very hard for the last 6 years. So that, I think my statement was about 4 or 5 minutes, was the fight that I have done, the highs, the lows, the litigation, it was all worth it just to have those 3 minutes looking at Ghislaine, saying what I needed to say to her.
Did you hope that maybe she would somehow, I don't know, respond, react, anything?
I was hoping that as a human being, she would have felt something. She would have at least acknowledged or looked, or but there was none of that. And that doesn't matter for me. The thing for me, the memory I'll take away from today that I will never forget until the rest of my, well, for the rest of my life, was hearing Ghislaine walk into court with the chains. And that was a very somber but liberating moment for me, because there's no more games. I just heard.
I have to pause her there. I have to pause her there. Because at that point, she's saying no more games. But in reality, where are we today? This video was 3 years ago. This video was 3 years ago. And I dropped the video link in the chat. So if anybody wants to watch it without my commentary, feel free to do so. But this was 3 years ago. So do we have any more answers? Has she gotten any justice? I have questions that I don't have the answers for. And to think about, this was 3 years ago. So now what is this woman going through today? What is Miss Ransome going through today?
The clinking, clink, clink, clink of chains.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real. That's reality. And, you know, I'm disappointed. I don't feel that Ghislaine took accountability and responsibility really for the victims. I think that was her addressing the victims was a bit of a sham, saying, I'm sorry. I have a particular issue with saying I'm sorry, because not at one point when I was being raped every single day, sometimes for 3 times a day, to 3 times a day, when Ghislaine herself, by her own hand, forced me into Jeffrey Epstein's room to be raped, did she say, I'm sorry?
That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to indulge personally. It is, right? That's exactly what I want to say. Oh my God, you know, but that's not the right thing to say. The right thing to say is, how do we fix this? How do we make those changes? And hopefully with Virginia's law, if that gets passed, that would be a great start. Where does she sit today? I mean, this woman has endured all this, and she spoke about this 3 years ago. That's what keeps coming to my mind. This was 3 years ago. I mean, there are people that are now in their 40s who were teenagers at the time. So help.
I've spent the last 17 years trying to get some form of justice, trying to put together life for myself. And I haven't been able to do that until today.
I wonder what she thinks today. Today, February 12th, 2026. I very curious, would like to know how she feels today. She was not on that panel that we watched last night, the video that we watched yesterday, that all the videos went through, and that one panel, she was not on there.
When you were wrapping up your comments. I mean, you can tell it's heartfelt. These are words that you carefully crafted, but they're from the heart.
Yeah.
Do you feel your message was received?
I know Ghislaine knew exactly who I was when I was standing up, giving my statement. And although she didn't acknowledge me, she knew exactly my words before her. And addressing Ghislaine for the first time in 17 years is a moment I'll never forget, ever.
You were 10 feet away from her. Was there?
And her family, you know, I found it very difficult with her whole entourage family being there, you know, especially after her very own family have victim shamed the victims and try to discredit them. And this has been a very complicated legal case. And I don't think any victim should ever have to go through what I've gone through or what any Epstein survivor has gone through. Should never have been this hard.
It was like being victimized again and again after the fact.
Exactly. And that was exactly what I was saying in last night's stream, is they are constantly being re-victimized over and over again with having to go through and talk about this. So maybe by choice she wasn't there when they had the panel the other day after the files were released. You know, maybe she's tried to bury it. But this is out here. This is the internet. This is forever. And, you know, again, here I say 3 years later, this woman is being just re-victimized.
Well, it's like being raped again by the system. That's exactly what it was. We were raped by Jeffrey and Ghislaine, and the system raped us again. And, you know, technically, if the FBI and the governmental institutions listened to Maria Farm in 1996, I wouldn't have been raped. Liz Stein, the other survivor.
And that was another, Maria Farmer and her sister Annie. Both of them. And I believe I have a video of Annie. We will get to that tonight.
I was 10 years old when she was being trafficked. I was 10. I'm now 37. I was 10 when she was being raped. Now at 37, I'm turning 38 in August. Why has it taken this long to get one conviction? And who is responsible behind that? Who are the people covering for these traffickers? Because this was an international sex trafficking ring that trafficked hundreds of children and young women into the thousands.
And nobody listened. Nobody listened. People have been screaming this for years. You have these lower, I'm just nobody. I'm just a mouth on the internet like anybody else. But you have all these, you know, comedians coming out saying things, record artists coming out saying things, and nobody believed them. It was all swept under the rug. It was all hush hush, you know, so you didn't take them at face value when they told you. And here these women have told you, nobody took them for their word, because who said it? Who is it going against? You know, who is it going against? I know. I love her teeth. Shut up. I love her teeth. K-Swan, be nice. I like her teeth.
One arrest is, I guess I'll take the scraps that I'm given, if that's what you call it, if that's what you call justice, a bit of scraps like a dog. But, you know, I'll take whatever scraps of justice I can get. But this isn't justice today.
That was my next question. 20 years was maybe a skosh more than the expected, not an outrageous amount. And I think most of it, any add-on was because what you heard from Elaine was not remorse. It was not apology. It was more, hey, I'm a victim too, which I want to get into. But you think that the 20 years, not really justice?
I think Ghislaine got that amount of time because of her age. You know, let's not forget Ghislaine has turned 60, I think, on the 25th of December 2021.
Whew. She knows her that well that she can recite her birthday from memory. Think about that for a minute. She just rattled that birthday off the top of her head.
Ghislaine won't see sunshine again. She won't hear the laughter, thank God, of children.
Do you think this woman's probably having a total meltdown right now? I would be, knowing what's going on and knowing that Ghislaine wants to have commuter sentence, so she'll spill the tea. No, we don't let that bitch out. We don't do things like that. I mean, right. Exactly. She was trying to get her story out. No one to listen. Now everybody, I'm sure, would love to interview her. I'm sure everybody would love to, because look, here we are. This was 3 years ago. And welcome in, Dara. I appreciate you being here. This was 3 years ago. And now to find out that Ghislaine wants to exchange her truth, which should have been dumped out in the beginning, but now she wants to explain it for a commuted sentence. No, ma'am, we don't do things like that. We don't do things like that. You love her British accent? Yeah, I love her accent. Right? Exactly, Abellis. Exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's not going to happen. I cannot imagining it happen. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. You know, again, we try not to be political in here, but this is the president of the United States. He does whatever the fuck he wants to do. I mean, let's be real.
Thank God. She'll never be able to walk in a field with flowers. She'll never be able to hear the sea again. She'll never be able to touch beach sand. So 20 years, Ghislaine won't last 20 years. You and I both know that. And I think the most difficult thing I've found more than anything, no matter what Ghislaine has done to me, I don't wish her harm because I'm not like her.
How commendable is that? She doesn't even wish her harm. I would tell her to go burn in hell, but that's just me, my loud mouth, my rude reaction. I would be like, no, this bitch can go burn in hell. But she wishes her no harm, which is very commendable considering what had happened to her. Very, very, very commendable.
I don't want Ghislaine to be raped. I don't want Ghislaine to be hurt because I'm not her. And I hope she finds some form of solace or comfort for her retirement years. Because I don't wish pain upon any other human being, no matter what they've done to me. And that's the difference between Ghislaine and I, because I can't hurt another human being. So it's sad. And it's really sad that she felt that I wasn't worth anything.
But we have to take into consideration this is her trauma talking. Again, this is the mental health side of my channel that we do talk about, is the trauma side. Is now she is traumatized. She has to deal with this internally and deal with it herself. She has beautiful eyes. She's a very pretty lady. I like her teeth too.
And I'm sad that she'll never see the beach or the sea again because of her actions. And it's something I'll never be able to understand.
This lady reminds me of a caregiver type person. A caregiver type person. Just mark my word.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Take it more.
And in my opinion, this is honest, raw pain. And again, here I am saying, Lola got something. I'm going to hit play and let me go retrieve whatever the dog got.
Thank you. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. Just tell me if I've got Panda.
More questions.
Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm really glad it's you. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, just two more questions. One about giving.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My dogs are over here chewing my medication bottles that I had refilled today. Yeah, I kept hearing this little shake, shake, rattle noise. Sorry to disrupt the whole chat and totally do a 180 on y'all for a moment, but I kept hearing some rattling and noticed they had boxes of chewing something. Medication refill today. So it's always a fun time in the Rubber Ramada reviews. Okay, back to this. I'm so sorry. And again, I apologize. I know she was crying and these damn dogs. Can you go lay down, please? Mommy's streaming. Go lay down.
Sitting there, as I'm sure most, not sure whether she's going to say anything or not. She doesn't have to. And all along in this process, she's been pretty closed-mouthed and defiant and pretty much annoyed with the system that is treating her so badly. Right? We've heard so many complaints about how she's being treated in jail. Boo-hoo. But made you think, well, she's probably got nothing to say. Just give me the sentence, let me get on with it. Were you surprised when she spoke?
I almost fell off the chair, actually. Liz and I looked at each other and we couldn't believe it. I'm still trying to make sense of it. But again, you can say as many sorries as you want, but I was raped because of you. I was degraded. I was humiliated. I was coerced. I was starved.
Sorry, that was just such the wrong timing to put that on screen. I apologize. Y'all, I'm going to get in so much trouble. We're talking about Taco Bell and I stick a Taco Bell comment. Y'all know comedy and the chaos to get through some of this shit. We have our stress balls. I have stress ducks. Whew. Okay. Dogs ate my Taco Bell earlier, and here we are. Abraham ordered him some Taco Bell since we had Taco Talk. So with Taco Talk, y'all know, we have to have a little ride. We have to go for a ride. Hang on. I have to find the delivery guy. We're getting pizza. Everybody breathe in, breathe out. This is our moment of break. Ready? Pizza delivery. Thank you, the Guardians of Firelight, for delivering our pizza. I was muted. I didn't realize that. Okay, now to calm down, we had our break. We'll get back to this. We had to take a break. Whew. Okay. Yep. We have to laugh because we're all out of crying. Okay. We have to put comedy in the chaos because that's how we deal with life. Sorry. No, I'm not muted anymore. You must be behind.
Ghislaine, words fall on empty ears. I can say whatever words I want. But I've always been taught that actions speak louder than words.
And so she may have used the word sorry, but the way she phrased everything was very deliberate. You could tell.
Absolutely.
I acknowledge what everybody's been through. Jeffrey Epstein's a manipulator. I'm sorry for what you went through. Not I'm sorry for whatever role I played. I'm sorry that you had to go through this. It's almost like she wanted you to think, well, hey, I'm just a victim like you folks.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course. I mean, that's carefully crafted by her lawyers so she can have an appeal. So, I mean, that was strategic by her defense lawyers. I know that. You know that. Ghislaine has no remorse whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But, put on a little, I'm sorry for, that was for the next stage when they appeal. I think they thought her defense team, very clever, by the way, very clever. If you do something wrong, you want to hire those guys. She had no remorse in her voice. Ghislaine has no soul. And you know yourself what I've been through trying to take her down. And the reason why I've had to go through that is because she's a dangerous human being. She will reoffend, and reoffend. These people never stop. Ever.
Okay, but by her saying that, and then saying she's okay with the 20 years and her getting out in her old age and living out her retirement, this was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. It just says 3 years ago. June 30th, 2022. Right here. June 30th, 2022. So thinking about that, we're in 2026, almost 4 years. And here she has spilled her truth. I believe so. I will look that up while we finish listening to her story.
And I guess when I came out of court, I was so shell-shocked. I was being interviewed, and now, that was a strategic move by her lawyers to gain sympathy. Ghislaine feels nothing for us.
I think if that was the plan, it sort of backfired, because I think the judge tacked on just a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I have to say, I have the utmost respect for Judge Nathan, and she did pick up on that. And I think her comments afterwards, she picked up that Ghislaine has no remorse, not once.
But if you're so
Okay, so we'll pause there. I'm going to pull up this, and we're going to read over this real quick. Sarah Ransome is a South African-born author and advocate for sexual abuse survivors, best known as one of the most prominent survivors of Epstein's sex trafficking ring, which she described as a rape pyramid scheme. Right, I remember in the documentary that I did watch, I think it was her that made the comment that it was kind of like the MLM of trafficking. Was what was said in the documentary, which I found totally interesting. December 2021, she published her memoir, which is called Silence No More, Surviving My Journey to Hell and Back, which details her recruitment into Epstein's world at age 22 under a guise of a fashion career help. Yes, she, before I go any further, was Q40, Q20 was a Q40 club in New York is where she had met him. Again, referring to my notes. Y'all know me and my notes. I'm always referring back to him. And she is still alive. She has a mission. She aims to empower survivors to stand their truth. Love that. Y'all know that's one thing I always tell y'all. Speak your truth and stand on your truth. Don't ever, ever stand down. Speak it. Say what you mean what you say, always. Stand on their truth and advocates for legal changes to protect victims of trafficking. She appeared in the Netflix documentary series Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich, to share her story, which that was the one documentary I discussed with y'all, which we may, if anybody has interest, we could do it either in Discord or on Kick. We can watch the documentary one afternoon, one evening, maybe over the weekend or something. If anybody has interest in that, you can always message me in Discord, and we'll see. But let's finish reading this real quick. She filed a civil suit in 2017. She reached an undisclosed settlement with Epstein and Ghislaine in 2018. Early 24, reports indicated she received an additional $1 million from a fund related to Epstein litigation. Maxwell trial. While she did not testify at Ghislaine's 2021 criminal trial, she was present in the courtroom and expressed profound vindication after the guilty verdict. 2024 to 2026, on the unsealed documents, Ransome has remained in the news as batches of unsealed documents were released. These included 2016 emails where she alleged she possessed sex tapes of powerful figures, claims she later retracted, stating she invented the concept of the tapes to draw attention to Epstein's crimes. She did what she had to do to out him. That's my opinion. Form your own. As of early 2026, she reportedly resides in the Netherlands, the Friesland region, and she married in 2025. So she is alive, and that's good because a lot of them are not.
Sociopath, you would never even understand how what you're saying could possibly make your situation worse. You wouldn't comprehend that.
Well, I mean, a sociopath, psychopath doesn't rape thousands of young women and children. So, and teach a 14-year-old how to touch a middle-aged man's penis. So, and enjoyed it. So Ghislaine, as far as I'm concerned, has only one friend left, which is the one in prison that wrote that lovely note for her. And she can go make some new friends.
Let's talk about you real quick. Just one last question. What's now that this has lifted to whatever degree it can be lifted, what's the future?
So the future for me, as of today is groundbreaking for me because I've not been able to emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically been able to move on since today. And I'm actually going to be I'm going to be studying to learn how to coach other survivors. And I'm going to be doing some voluntary work with rape survivors, with a charity I've chosen to work with in my spare time, be a first responder for rape victims at email, phone. And I guess it's a bittersweet ending for me because I've gone through something that I wouldn't even wish on Ghislaine. I wouldn't wish.
And there we go back to her, the sweet, the kind, the innocent part of her that's showing through again. I want to hug her. Y'all know me. I want to hug her. Me and my
on my worst enemy. And I hope that lessons have been learned, and I hope that I've gained enough experience where I can be there for any other woman, survivor. I really want to make it very clear, rape isn't just about women. It's gender neutral. It's class neutral.
You heard what she just said there. And yes, Miss Spicer, this is, I am a live streamer, but she is alive. We just went through that, and she is alive. She is actively, she's residing in the Netherlands. So yeah, she's alive.
I want to make it very clear, rape isn't just about women. It's gender neutral. It's class neutral. It's race neutral. Rape is rape. So I'm going to be dedicating my life to help those survivors.
That's very insightful.
Okay,
very
sorry.
Generous.
Thank you.
Kind of turn this horrible number of events into something.
No, this was actually recorded 3 years ago. That's what we were looking at. This was from June 30th of 2022. So almost 4 years ago. So our curiosity with this is, how does she feel now? Knowing that Ghislaine wants to be commuted to spill her truth. I don't understand it. I mean, you know, she's been through a lot of trauma. And unfortunately, a lot of us, and we do speak a lot about mental health here, is we deal with trauma in our own way. And I always talk about putting comedy in the chaos, because that's how I've learned to deal with my trauma, is to talk about it, enjoy it, change the subject, not enjoy the trauma, enjoy the conversation, and let others know they're not alone. They're not alone. You're not alone. You're never alone. You may think you are, but until you find that right moment, yeah, you'll know when you find it. So that was Mrs. Sarah Ransome. So we are going to carry on. This is a Chris Hansen video. I will drop this in the chat also if you would like to review it without my commentary. I try not to pause too much about it. But this is with Juliet Bryant. This is another victim survivor. And this was, Chris Hansen just put this out just January 14th of this year. So it's pretty current. And all descriptions will also be in the description box below of the stream when the stream is complete. Sorry about that.
Every week
Okay, it's not letting me. Let me refresh it. It's not letting me make it full screen. It's being difficult tonight.
Me, how are you? And we're lucky to have Juliet Bryant take a seat with me now, all the way from South Africa. Juliet, thank you so much for having a seat with me. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm doing well considering the circumstances.
Yes.
It's easy, everything that I've been through, as well as many of the other victims. And that's why I'm here speaking out for victims both alive and dead.
You know, Juliet, and we're going to get into all of this here, but it begs the question, in some ways, it would be easier for you not to talk about this, to bury it, to move on with your life. Why is it so important to you to continue to speak out about this, to share the details of what you survived, what you endured because of Jeffrey Epstein?
Excellent question. Thank you, Chris. It would be easier for me to just live my life and ignore it all, but I cannot ignore it all, not when people have been murdered. I can't sit there and be happy when people have been hurt and killed.
You know, and I find that very interesting, Todd, that you even brought that up, because I thought I was probably the only one noticing that all these girls seem to be English. Hang on, let me scream at my dogs. I need to mute so I can help. Okay, sorry. Yeah, they're all the ones that we have talked about have been English, so I find that quite interesting.
Also, those bastards hurt me so badly that I'll never be okay again after what they did to me. I'm getting better every day, but this is why I speak out against them. For people that they've hurt. They hurt me, but they've hurt others worse, and that's why I'm here speaking out.
You know, Juliet, let's go back to the beginning. How did you first meet Jeffrey Epstein? Under what circumstances? How did that all come together?
And she needs to know she is very brave for speaking out. she is very brave for speaking out. There has to be a fear inside her. And to be able to, I would be feared inside. And to be able to speak out is a lot. You know, I can remember those days.
It was in South Africa, correct?
Not me personally with this situation.
Well, what happened, Chris, is I was studying psychology at the University of Cape Town, and then I started doing modeling on the side because, you know, my family didn't have a lot of money and it was difficult for me getting to university. I didn't have petrol money, so I had to do like some sort of job, obviously, like most people do. So I was doing modeling, and because I got scouted for modeling, I actually got scouted.
Look at that beautiful face. Absolutely beautiful.
First of all, when I was 14, by Elite Model Management. My mother would not let me travel. So these bastards, you know, they go for girls when they're even younger. But what happened is when I was 20, I was doing modeling, and basically I went out with a friend of mine to a restaurant, like bar, where they had like free drinks for models, because, you know, young girls will always go with these like free drinks and free food or whatever, you know, when you're poor. And then what happened is when I was...
Okay, see, why is that even a thing? Why is that even a thing? If you're young and pretty, you can go to a bar and get a drink and food for free. Why is that even a thing? Just a random squirrel thought of mine, guys.
At that place, a girl approached me and she told me that she worked, well, she didn't say she worked with him. She said that her friend, Jeffrey Epstein, who's like the King of America, was here with his best friend, Bill Clinton, and he worked with Leslie Wexner, the owner of Victoria's Secret, and they could really help with my modeling career. She also said that Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker were here with him. So, of course, it sounded like, you know, I almost didn't believe it because I'm coming from Africa, you know, I just turned 20 and I'd never met any celebrities in my life. So I was like, obviously very interested to meet them because it sounded like my dreams were all coming true.
What was it like, Juliet, when you first met Epstein himself? What were the circumstances? What was the environment? What was the vibe?
Well, they were all sitting around a table having dinner, and there were like some South African government officials sitting with them. And they all stood up during dinner and stood up to shake my hand. So, I mean, for me, I was like more interested in seeing like Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. I didn't know who this man Jeffrey Epstein was. It just sounded like he worked with them and he helped with modeling. So but yeah.
So here we go again with all the as we spoke earlier when we were on Hio's stream. Hey, content or somebody, would y'all mind dropping Hio's link real quick? As we talked earlier on Hio's stream, men from all walks of life, names that sound great and interesting. Exactly. Kevin Spacey, Les Wexner, Victoria's Secret. I mean, if you're an inspiring model and you hear the name, the owner of Victoria's Secret, oh, fuck yeah, I'm jumping on that. Let me get in on that deal. You know, that'd be my first, let me meet him. I want to say hi. Never in my wildest dreams thinking it would go down that route. Thank you, content, for putting that out there.
Yeah, I was more like starstruck meeting Clinton and Spacey.
It was Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker, Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein, and that's a star-studded table for somebody to walk into. You must have been overwhelmed by this.
I was so overwhelmed. I was completely starstruck because, like I said, I'd never seen a celebrity in my life, and it just seemed like so legitimate, you know, that these people were all together. And the girl told me that they were scouting models, and it just seemed like the most legitimate opportunity of my life. And I still wonder how I was dumb enough to get on the airplane and go off there. But the thing is, I've realized, you know, these guys are con men. They're the greatest con men of all. They would be able to catch someone who's 40, someone who's 70. So, you know, a 20-year-old's an easy fish to catch, right?
Exactly. And while you were of the age of consent, the grooming process that you were exposed to is the very same grooming process that they used on thousands of women, some of whom were underaged. What was your first dealing with Jeffrey Epstein? You have this dinner, you see all these politicians and comedians and stars, and you get brought into this. What was your first dealing specifically with Epstein himself?
Well, you see, when I was taken there, I didn't even sit with him at the table. Like, they just stood up and shook my hand. And then we stayed there for like 5-10 minutes and then we left. So then what happened is the girl who approached me and scouted me for him, or recruited me, this girl phoned me after that, and she said that, oh, Epstein really liked me and wanted to see my modeling portfolio. He thought I would be great for Victoria's Secret. So the next day I was invited to a modeling casting at the hotel where they were staying, in the Cape Grace Hotel. So, but what Naja said is that they're actually doing a speech at the Western Cape Peninsula University, and would I like to come and watch the speech first before the casting? So of course I said, of course, I wanted to go. So I went to the hotel. I probably arrived there at like 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, and they had these like mini buses outside, and the one bus, Epstein and Clinton and Kevin Spacey, they all got in. And then I was told to get in the bus behind, and then the whole highway was closed off in Cape Town. I've never seen anything like it. Like every ramp where you came to, there would be like police waiting, like on bikes and stuff. Like every.
I mean, being from America, that sounds like a motorcade of a president coming to town. Just my thoughts and opinions. Everybody just stops and lets them go. They got police escort. What? I'm sorry. Okay, then my next question, was Clinton president this time when this occurred? Wait, Abellis. That's what I need to find out. Was Clinton president when this occurred? Because then that would explain why the streets were all shut down and all that. In my mind.
Everything was like so shut down. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And then he gave a speech at the lower income university. And while he was doing it, Kevin Spacey had a handheld device, and he went like this and filmed everyone on the hall, because he was sitting in front of me. You see, I was sitting behind him, and it wasn't like the kind of place you'd imagine the ex-president of America to do a speech. It was a very basic lower income university, but they were filming all the students in the hall.
Yeah, right.
And so after you listen,
I don't think she said what year it was that this happened to her. It was in the 90s. I remember that. It was the late 90s, if I believe. Don't get me talking about my American history. I'll fail that. Oh, she said the ex-president. Okay. I wasn't listening close enough. Thank you, Abraham.
Listen to this speech. Did you have another meeting with Epstein? Was it this woman who was a go-between, or how did that all come together?
Well, what happened after this is that we went back to the Cape Grace where they were staying in the minibuses. And then I went to my car. I had a City Golf, like a very basic small car. I went to get my modeling portfolio out of my car so I could go in for the casting. So then I went back into the hotel, and they'd already gone in. Like, I was on my own. I went to get my, after we come back from the speech. And then I walked up, and then what happened is there were 3 girls sitting along a long table. They were all posing as modeling agents. They pretended that they worked for Karen Modeling Agency. And they went through my modeling book, and then they said, and while they were doing the casting, Bill Clinton walked through. Like, say I'm sitting here, he walked through behind me, and he's like, "Hi, everyone." And then he went into an adjoining suite. So it looked like they were sharing the executive suite, the president's suite of the hotel. What happened then is, after these girls looked at my modeling book, they said, "Right, you can go through and see Epstein now." So I went through, and I sat opposite Epstein, and he looked through my modeling book, and he said, "Right, I think you'd be perfect for Victoria's Secret." And then, what happened is after I left there, his office started phoning and arranging me my visa and to get me there. They had me there within 3 weeks, basically.
Within 3 weeks. Y'all heard that? 3 weeks. Dude, how can you go from hot? But I guess if you're higher up and you have that power, you can get a visa in 3 weeks. That's kind of like, that's a little intimidating to me. I know it took a few months for me to even get my passport and all that in. So I couldn't even imagine. 3 weeks. Okay. Somebody's moving some papers to get that done, right?
And was it your impression that Jeffrey Epstein was actually representing Victoria's Secret?
And I was fixing to say, and then you hear the name Victoria's Secret, and she's already said, I mean, it attracted her. It attracted her, just what we were talking about earlier in HeoStream. It attracted her.
In terms of somebody who was finding models and recruiting models?
Yes, he made it very clear that he worked with Leslie Wexner and that he was looking for models for Victoria's Secret for Leslie Wexner.
When you finished that meeting, Juliet, was it your impression that, hey, I've got a real shot here to be a model for Victoria's Secret? This is the big breakthrough that I've been trying to get as a young model.
Yeah.
Do you see the emotional impact that I see that's having on her to have to answer that question? The way she moved her hair and she's covering her mouth, her body motions. This is hard for her. And I again, another one, I just want to hug her. That's just me. So it's just, yeah. Well, that's a good question. What's the secret behind Victoria's Secret? The secret is there's a lot of secrets.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah, I really believed it all. I was stupid. But then again, maybe I wasn't stupid. Like a lot of people say, they would have been conned by people like that.
Well, you certainly are far from the only one who's fallen for this. I mean, obviously, you see somebody who's with the president, a former president of the United States, who's with high-level celebrities, and why would you not believe it if a guy says that he's representing Leslie Wexner of Limited Brands and the owner of Victoria's Secret? I mean, it would seem to me that you'd be all in your rights to say this is a legitimate deal.
And he was with Bill Clinton, it just seems so legitimate. It seemed like the most legitimate opportunity of my whole life.
In her young eyes, it looked legit, right? She was, there you go, Abellis. That's the comedy and the chaos here. She was blinded by the glitter. She was. Don't ever think you're stupid to be in a situation like this. Don't ever think that. Nope. Money and power, it all sounds good. It sounds good. But realistically, I mean, I've told y'all, I left all the money I wanted with my stuff in pillowcases in the backseat of my car. So you do what you have to do. These are survivors.
Well,
They tried to destroy me.
And what year would have this been, Juliet? Take your time.
It was in 2002.
2002.
I met them September 26, 2002.
When you came to the United States, where did you go? Did you go to New York?
Well, yeah. What happened is there was a man waiting for me with the name on a board. He was like standing there with my name on a board, and it seemed like so legitimate, this name on the board. It just, I just thought like, oh my God, I'm going to be like a celebrity. It was just like, what the hell's going on? I was so excited. And then the driver was driving me, and I kept looking at all the billboards in New York, and I was like thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to like be able to solve all my family's problems. And anyway, then they dropped me off at 301 East 66th Street, the modeling apartment. And I was in there for about 5 minutes, and then the phone rang, and it was Sarah Kellen, and she said, pack your things, we're going to the Caribbean. I obviously assumed it was for a modeling shoot or something, she said, pack a small bag. So I had to leave my big bag there and then bring a few small things to go to this island. And, I didn't have my phone with me. I didn't have any money because I asked them before, like I told them I don't have any money. And they said, no, don't worry. We will deduct the money from your modeling jobs. They said, I don't need.
We don't, wait. Did she just say what I thought she just said? She just said, you don't need any. Wait, what? We'll deduct. My words don't even want to come out. They'll deduct it from your modeling job? Are you serious?
Things to go to this island. And, I didn't have my phone with me. I didn't have any money because I asked them before, like I told them I don't have any money. And they said, no, don't worry. We will deduct the money from your modeling jobs. They said, I don't need money. So I was basically just completely trapped and stuck. And then what happened is the driver came back and he drove me to Teterboro Airport. And then Epstein was sitting on the front of the plane and he like patted the chair like this next to him. And then I went and sat there. And then as soon as the airplane took off, he started touching me in between my legs forcibly. And then I realized these people were going to try to kill me. I immediately knew that if I didn't do what they want, they're going to kill me. I knew it. I felt it.
What made you think that they would kill you, Juliet, if you didn't do what they wanted? Just the power?
It was just, I felt it strongly. It was just that I'd gone there for this modeling opportunity and suddenly I was being whisked away by these very rich, dangerous, powerful people. I mean, obviously at the time I didn't know how dangerous they were, but I just got a very strong feeling. I realized I'd been lied to basically because the thing is I thought I was going to New York to stay in a modeling apartment and I was being sent for castings. And then suddenly when I got taken off on the airplane, he was touching me between my legs. I suddenly realized, oh my God, my family are never going to see me again. I felt so terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. Sorry.
We totally understand, Juliet.
They left my name off that fucking flight log. Sorry, I'm sorry. They left my name off that flight log, so if I gone missing, no one would have known what had happened to me.
Right.
So
Juliet.
whatever they wanted.
Juliet, this was Epstein's private plane, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And you flew down to his island in the American Virgin Islands?
Yeah. So then I knew I had to do whatever they wanted, otherwise they would have killed me. It was pretty.
I had to do whatever they wanted or they were going to kill me. I mean, basically, she was at their beck and call doing whatever they needed. They were paying for everything. They got her visa. They got her there. I mean, could you imagine being that age and just getting on a plane with strange men?
Pretty obvious, especially since my name was left off that flight log.
So they never even.
What? What'd she say? I didn't understand her accent. I'm sorry, I didn't understand her accent.
So then I knew I had to do whatever they wanted, otherwise they would have killed me. It was pretty obvious, especially since my name was left off that flight log.
Okay, that's what I thought she said. My name was left off that flight log. Why? Is that not weird? I would so panic too. Why was my name not on that flight log? I'm on your airplane, dude. Dude, I'm on your airplane. If this plane goes down, hello, I'll be missing.
So they never even put you on that flight log?
No, my name was on the other flight logs. That one they left my name off. So if I'd gone missing, no one would have known what had happened to me.
And did this sexual assault continue throughout the flight?
I'm so sorry. Sometimes I get so stressed. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
You can't get arrested for smoking, right?
No. You're fine. Did this sexual assault by Epstein continue for the rest of the flight? And was there anybody else on the plane?
The girls who posed as modeling agents. And when he started touching me, they just laughed at me. They just laughed.
So they thought this
is trauma in front of our eyes. Real trauma. I'm just, it goes so much beyond just the situation at hand. Because it doesn't stop. Even if they got justice, think about that. Just stop and think about that. If they got justice, which is what? Okay, Ghislaine's in jail. What happens to the other people involved, being the people that assaulted her? That's still not going to take away the pain and the PTSD and everything that she's it's a lot. It's a lot. And so again, I go, okay, take a break. Everybody take a breather. Not going to lie. I have my stressed up because I'm trying not to squeeze the hell out of it. I'm trying to be calm. But we're witnessing right here. I mean, and this was in January, her talking about this. I know exactly. I want to hug her. Exactly. That's all. I just want to hug her. Justice is not money. Absolutely. Justice is not money.
It was a big joke that this was just a playtime for Epstein.
And this was very funny. I'm so sorry to cry like this.
It's all right. We understand.
Well, I do know that a lot with all the files that are coming out, and the people's names that were not redacted are coming out in these files. These women are finding their names amongst these files. So I do not know that for a fact. I do not know how she knows that her name was left off. But it very well could have something that have come out on these files, because this was just released a few weeks ago, this episode.
And the flight presumably was 3 to 4 hours, and you get down there after being assaulted, touched by Epstein. What happens when you actually get to the island, Juliet?
Well, they showed me the room I was meant to stay at.
I mean, first of all, you had to be freaked out by the time you got there that, you thought you were getting involved in this legitimate modeling opportunity. Suddenly you're whisked away to go to the island. I'm sure you thought it was for a shoot at that time. And then you get, treated this way, assaulted by Epstein. And now you're on this island with no communication, no cell phone. Did you even have a passport at this point?
They had my passport. They had all my things like that.
See, what did I say?
They said they had to have it for the flight. But the thing is, when we flew anywhere, no one ever checked anything on the plane. They never checked any passports. They never checked anything. None of the cargo, nothing was checked. We never went through any passport control on those planes.
Sue Bell, I think she's blinked more than twice. This poor lady is screaming help without even having to blink twice.
Basically, you'd land and two cars would arrive and everything would be put on and you'd leave. Nothing was ever checked.
What happened when you got to the compound?
Well, first of all, we landed in, I don't know if it's St. Thomas or St. Bart's, wherever they land, St. Martin's, and then we took a helicopter from there. I was just like, firstly, I hadn't slept on this flight from South Africa, the 20-hour flight from South Africa. I was so excited, thinking all my dreams are coming true. So I was absolutely exhausted. I'd also never even left South Africa. I'd never, ever traveled without my mum. I'd never been anywhere out of the country. So I was just...
Could you imagine? I would be so frightened just to get on a plane and leave my whole family, all that. Right. And you can't just leave an island. You're absolutely right, Abellis. What is she going to do? Put her floaties on and start swimming? I mean, seriously. I mean, we've seen that island. We watched videos yesterday of Tyler Oliveira on that island. You're not just going to just jump off the island and run away. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not.
Completely freaked out. And when we arrived there, they basically showed me the room I was going to be staying in, the chalet. And then that's when they started calling me to Epstein's room. After that, what happened is then...
Well, we went over that yesterday. If when we're done with this stream, if you'd like to go back and review yesterday's stream, we started off with the Bondi thing and went into, actually, we just stuck with one survivor yesterday and reviewed with her, which was the Virginia Giuffre, and went over her testimonies and stuff of her videos. So thank you for being here, though. I appreciate that. And if y'all don't mind, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, share it out. I'm here. I usually stream Monday through Thursdays, late evening. And yeah, make sure your notifications are on, because sometimes on the weekends I do some odd streams. So thank you all for being here.
The next day, another girl was boarded. And then the girl started giving him a blowjob in front of me during he was watching a movie, and I got so scared and I ran away. Basically, it was just very, very frightening and horrible. It was a very, very frightening place to be trapped as a young girl.
You were sexually assaulted by Epstein?
Yeah, many times. I kept getting called to his room. There's a lot of weird stuff with all of that too.
Well, I'm sorry you had to endure that. I mean, it's just beyond belief that they could trick somebody at this level and do it so many times. How long, Julie?
Sir, I don't like the way you use that term. He's tricked. That's one way to put it. They were grossly coerced. I don't like the word trick.
Juliet, were you on the island during that particular visit?
Well, the first time I was taken there, we were there for about like 4 or 5 days. Then we went to Palm Beach. Because the thing is, they never used to tell anyone before they were like leaving. You know, they never used to like tell us the night before they were going somewhere else. They'd like basically like half an hour before they'd be like, pack your things, we're going. And then we wouldn't know where we were going because they obviously didn't want anyone knowing where they were going. And then, yeah, we went to Palm Beach. And then after that, in Palm Beach, I was taken to his office and he told me he worked with the CIA. He told me that he had my family's name on a list. And he told me that a girl accused him of rape and he planted drugs in her apartment and sent her to prison. After that, I was sent to New York and they made my hair blonde and my teeth white by Frederick Fakai, the hair salon man. And then I was sent back to South Africa and then they brought me back again. Because by that point, I was so broken. People asked, why did I go back? I didn't want to disobey this man. It was quite clear that he was going to try kill anyone who disobeyed him.
Juliet, there came a point during all this where you were at his ranch in New Mexico. And this, to me, is one of the more harrowing, untold stories of the exploitation and abuse by Jeffrey Epstein. Explain to me what happened down there in terms of these experiments or medical crimes that...
Whoo, okay, I got to breathe on this before they get into that. Everybody take a stretch break. This is going to get funky. I'm not sure I'm ready to hear this one. Y'all know this is Rubber Ramada Reviews. Usually I review things. We do this blindly. I don't watch things in full because you will get my live raw reaction. Okay, yes, content. Holy crap, it gets worse. For fuck's sakes, what is fixing to happen? I'm sorry. Whew. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready to roll into this? Oh, Lord. Remember all those pictures everybody's already seen of dental chairs? Could you imagine, Content Angel? Okay, here we go. Let's roll.
He had committed against you.
Well, you know, it's so hard to actually explain all of it, but you know, I woke up in a laboratory there with like 6 people in hazmat suits and a female doctor working on me, and
this is at just so people know, this is at Epstein's ranch in New Mexico.
Yeah, Epstein's ranch in New Mexico.
And why were you brought there? Why did they tell you?
So she went from the island to Zorro Ranch. Is that what she just saying?
You were. What did they tell you in terms of why you were going there?
Nothing. I was never told anything.
Just we're going to the ranch in New Mexico and you're coming along.
And yeah, I mean, I can't really explain it all very clearly because I don't really know more of what they were doing, but I do know what happened to me.
Why did you think you were going to New Mexico? What did you think was going to happen there when you flew there from South Africa?
I actually don't even know. I mean, the thing is, Epstein had such a hold on me and so many other people. It's almost like he was running a bit of a cult, you know, and he would find people and like sort of try to control them. And the thing is, like, no one disobeyed Epstein. Like, disobeying them would have been a very bad idea. You know, look at the Maxwells, you know, and all those families. They're very, very dangerous. You know, being around Epstein it was like a mouse being around a snake, like a mouse with a puff adder or a cobra. That's how I felt.
And did you think at the time when you were in New Mexico that there was still a chance that you could score a modeling job out of this?
I don't even know by that point. Like, I was such a mess by that point.
It's a scary thought. I wouldn't even know. What were they doing? They needed a hazmat suit. I mean, I know she was saying they changed her hair color and all that and her teeth and, you know, not dyed her teeth, but whitened her teeth and all that. So I'm not sure. Why would they need a hazmat suit? That's a good question.
To be honest, you know, I suppose, I don't know what I thought by that point. I think the thing is that he'd taken such great advantage of me, and it was just the whole thing had like messed me up so badly. You know, when I came back from there, I had terrible panic attacks. I was hospitalized like 10 times. I was put on tranquilizers. I was a real mess. It's like, that's a lot of people judge and say like, oh, why did you go back? The thing is, when you're kidnapped by someone like that, you don't come back feeling okay. These people are very powerful. They're very, very clever. They know what they're doing. They know how to fuck around with the young person. You know, I was 20 years old. If they took me now, I'd be a little more able to deal with
So you heard that too. I mean, basically,
it. But
let's rewind her just a second.
terrible panic attacks. I was hospitalized like 10 times. I was put on tranquilizers. I was a real mess. It's like, that's a lot of people judge and say like, oh, why did you go back? The thing is, when you're kidnapped by someone like that, you don't come back feeling okay. These people are very powerful. They're very, very clever. They know what they're doing. They know how to fuck around with the young person. You know, I was 20 years old. If they took me now, I'd be a little more able to deal with it, but not really. That's why they wouldn't take me now. They'd take someone who's 20.
Tell me what happened to you in New Mexico, this medical crime that was committed against you.
Well, I don't even know what they did. I woke up in a lab. There were people working on me. You know, it wasn't like a usual sort of hospital area. It was just, there's something very, very.
I haven't gone down that path yet. I have just started my rabbit hole of this a couple days ago, and it's been a rabbit hole, let me tell you. Yes, Stockholm Syndrome is a totally real, legit thing. And the traumatization these women are having to deal with, and looking back, even though it was so many years ago, it doesn't change the fact that it happened, and they still have to deal with the emotions of it.
Weird that happened. And I don't know what it is. There's a lot of weird stuff that they try to do. I mean, if I knew more, I'd be dead, right? So I guess I'm figuring it out with you. I don't really know what they did because.
So you woke up in what was essentially some sort of a makeshift operating room at Epstein's ranch in New Mexico. You saw them committing some sort of medical crime, some sort of procedure upon you. And did you ever feel any sort of physical pain or trauma, or were you ever able to confirm exactly what they did? I know you've gotten trauma from the whole experience, but was it?
20s, I had severe trauma.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to fucking die every day.
Yeah.
They did something serious to me, and I know they did because I've like abused myself many times in my life, but I've never felt as bad as I did when I came back from that place.
What do you think they did? Were you ever able to confirm it or figure out exactly what they did to you down there?
I can't confirm it exactly, but as we all know, there's a big cover-up going on here, and I think these criminals are capable of a lot more than any of us can comprehend. So, I mean, I wish I knew the truth, but if I did know more, I'd probably be dead. And like I said before, like they probably want me dead already. I can't go out. I can't even go to the beach. I've been followed. I've had my tires slashed. And no, I'm not crazy. I've been going out in Cape Town my whole life. As a young girl, I used to take the train. I used to take taxis. I had no problem going out as a young girl in Cape Town. But nowadays, I can't go out because my tires get slashed.
How were you finally able to get out of the Epstein grasp? How did you finally escape? What was the final thing that made you say, I'm done. I'm going to escape this. I'm out of here.
That's actually a very good question because do you know what started to happen? People started to go after him. There was a Vanity Fair article where Maria Farmer and Annie Farmer were, after him. And then I think the thing is he couldn't actually be bringing girls from overseas anymore. It got too dangerous for him.
1 second.
Because the time when he let me go was the time when he was about to get caught. Apparently he was never really put in prison. It's all a lie. But he had to be a bit more cautious.
Okay. For the new ones here, I do take care of my mother-in-law with dementia. She does pop in the background every once in a while in my streams. She needs me, so I'm going to let this play for a minute, and I'm going to go take care of her. I'll be less than 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
With his beats.
So you think people started to catch on with Epstein? He was facing allegations in the Miami Herald, for instance. He was facing criminal charges, albeit a sweetheart deal in that plea bargain, as we know. But you think he backed off of trying to bring you in anymore because it was an international situation and he was under a bit of a microscope at the time?
It's also not just that. He also said very clearly that women over the age of 22 are no longer attractive. He just said that girls were no longer useful after 22. So the thing is, he did try to get me to stay there. He offered me $4,000 a month to stay there and work with him, $2,000 for any girl I found for him. But I didn't go for any of that because, I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at home with my mom and my animals and my family.
Are you in touch with some of the other survivors today? Do you keep in touch?
I speak to Annie Farmer a lot. She's an amazing woman. Annie and Maria. Maria's also been through a lot. I speak to them. There are not many other survivors I'm in touch with. Yesterday I actually got in touch with Haley Robson. I saw you did an interview with Haley, right?
Sure, absolutely. And
Yeah.
my heart goes out to all of you because it's just shocking that he was able to get away with this for so long. Did you ever along the way, Juliet, actually meet Les Wexner?
No, I didn't.
Does it shock you that a guy like Epstein, a college dropout, was able to con all these people along the way to a massive fortune that allowed him to conduct this sort of human trafficking on such a large scale? I mean, it's amazing to me and to a lot of other people that he was able to pull this off. And it raises questions about what he had on Les Wexner. Now, Wexner's denied any wrongdoing. He's not been charged with any crimes. But along the way, the recent reporting on this indicates that in spite of Wexner's advisors saying, stay away from Epstein, he's a bad guy, he stayed loyal to him and actually, continued to invest money and give Epstein money that allowed him to be a major player in these very wealthy.
And again, we talked about that earlier. I know I have my volume turned up so I can hear. I had to get mom something to eat. It's the sundowning dementia. Once I get to where I'm a monetized channel, part of my members only, just for everybody in the background, part of my members only will be me sharing more of my experience with my mother-in-law with the dementia and stuff and the mental health of that part of my life. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. But anyway, so I went and I did that real quick. But again, here we are, we're talking about powerful men, powerful money men, men that have money. Look, my words aren't even wording. Yes, sundowning is real. Sundowning is real. But men that are powerful with money, influencing these young women because, that's what they do for their enjoyment. I really don't know. Yeah, she's mad. We had a party and didn't tell her. Yeah, she keeps asking me for her phone too. I don't have her phone. I hate to tell her, but I don't have her phone. I don't know why she's asking me for it. So anyways. No, you're not lazy. You're not lazy. We all just have to kind of take a break just for a moment. Just take a breather. You think Epstein built this network of women and used that to entice other powerful men. That's how they were all entangled into this. He fawned these women in front of these men. I think you're onto something, Abraham. I really do. Maybe that's how they got to invest with him, how he's able to make so much money from them. Yeah. It really needs to be brought out, these victim survivors need that closure, although that closure is only going to put partial healing because they're going to still have the trauma that they're going to have to live with for the rest of their life. That's not ever going to go away.
These circles.
It has to be something you have to learn to deal with, and you have to learn to cope with, and
get away with this like that.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of stories about all of that. What I have realized, Epstein never told me he was a maths teacher. He told me he used to be a cab driver. And he said he had his own fleet of cabs and stuff. And he told me he used to give girls free rides for blowjobs. So I don't understand.
Wait, what? Okay, blow my mind, y'all. Blow my mind. Okay, I told y'all. See, in the little thing, we're going to find some mind-blowing. Okay, that blew my mind. I was not expecting her to say that. Okay, we're going to rewind and we're going to hear that again just because. Whew.
What I have realized, Epstein never told me he was a maths teacher. He told me he used to be a cab driver. And he said he had his own fleet of cabs and stuff. And he told me he used to give girls free rides for blowjobs. So I don't understand how a cab driver is suddenly a maths teacher. And also, if you look at the articles about this thing of Epstein being a maths teacher, there's a photo of.
And part of a trigger dealing with trauma is now they have to relive this over and over and over. Now these files have been brought out, names have been put out, redacted names that were not redacted, and look where we are. Look where we are.
Him with the board, and he's written his name incorrectly. It's like Epstein without the E. So what kind of a maths teacher writes the name incorrectly? Also, if he was a maths teacher, surely some of his students would have come out and spoken by now, correct? Also, like as far as being a pedophile, you would have expected some of the students to have had cases against him. Where are all the students? I would like to hear from one person who was in Jeffrey Epstein's maths class. Because these students will be about 40 now, or 50, or 60. They'll be alive. Where are these students that were in his math class? That's what I want to know.
How do you think Epstein got away with this for so long? You got so many breaks along the way. Was it power? Was it money? Was it blackmail? What do you think, based upon what you saw?
I think he's the front of a big business. There's a big business behind him, and I think there were other people protecting him. I don't believe that he was really a math teacher, like I was saying. Also the way he became, started working for Bear Stearns with, Ace Greenberg, all those names. It seems to me like with the School of Dalton, if you ask me, it seems like one of those, he got involved with the children, and I think one of the children did something bad.
Abraham, you did your research, buddy, because I know we already talked earlier on Hio's stream, but man, when we review your stream, I won't be up there because I'm amazed at how much work you've done behind this as I have, but you've done other side of it than I have. So your knowledge is really, really helping here. And I so appreciate that. So appreciate that. Cab drivers have been nosy. Yeah. Yep. Captain of a starship. That's a cute name. I'm sorry. The name just caught me. I didn't even the reason for exposing the victims, but not the perpetrators, likely because they want to silence the victims. And they have been silencing the victims. And part of me and my channel, Rubber Ramada Reviews, my name is Sheila. Hi, if you're new here. I always say, speak your truth, be honest, say what you mean what you say, stand behind what you say, don't delete what you say. As a streamer, I don't hide streams. We are out here. I am speaking up for myself, and I am very interested in hearing the survivors' words. So I appreciate you being here. I really do. Exactly. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. God help each one of these families who are having to relive this publicly again. All the family, you're all in our prayers. Absolutely. Bill Barr's father got Epstein a job at an elite school as a math teacher when Epstein was not a teacher, but a dropout. Yes, I did hear that. He didn't actually have a teaching degree. But he was, I heard he was a math teacher, but it was kind of like a by proxy math teacher because he didn't have the education to actually be teaching at that level from what I understood. Yeah, basically. I mean, if he was doing that telling her that he did that to everybody who took around in the taxi cabs to pay for their ride, I mean, again, these women always need to speak up, speak out. It doesn't matter. And here I am squeezing my stress duck, y'all. Okay. got my stress duck, because it's the way I deal with mine. I deal with my trauma, my stress, my way. We put comedy in the chaos. There's nothing funny about any of this. These women deserve justice, and right now, with Ghislaine wanting a commuted sentence to spill her truth, is disgusting. And if I was any of these women, I would say, fuck you, Elaine. Absolutely not. Ghislaine. I'm sorry, I said Elaine. And nope. I know my ducky's already losing his head. Look, right here. See, I know. You gotta glare out. Look, Ducky's already losing his head. Ducky is already losing his head, and we've only had him for a couple weeks. We're gonna have to invest in new ducks.
And then he blackmailed the parents. And I think that's how he got along. That, if you had to ask me, I mean, I don't know. I'm just guessing here.
One of his former supervisors at Bear Stearns said in a New York Times Magazine article that came out just recently that he had the opportunity to end Epstein's career and wishes he had at the time. They learned that Epstein had falsified his college record.
Yeah, and he said it was his greatest regret, right?
Yeah, that he didn't stop it when he could have. And this was in the early mid 80s. Yeah, and there are more than one. There is more than one person who is saying this now, that they caught him. They figured out he was a con man back then. Obviously, nobody knew back then that he was capable of the mass evil human trafficking that ultimately took place. But there were a lot of warning signs along the way here. And the question begs, how does a guy like that end up amassing a fortune of $500 million? And in spite of getting caught at least once, and I've gone through some of the files, there was tons of evidence here. These women were trying to get their story out there, you and the others, when nobody would listen.
Nobody would listen. Nobody was. I'm sorry, I had to run away. This, I don't know if you see that. It's a 22 shell that is chewed up. Yep. I have dogs. Just so in case anybody doesn't know, I have dogs. And ever since the puppies are gone, we had puppies, and I just got over a 9-week hiatus from taking care of puppies to all the new people around. And ever since the puppies have gone, my female dog has taken to chewing anything she can find in my house. So sorry, I had to run for a minute.
And it's shocking to me that this was able to take place. And I guess it comes down to money, power, greed, and perhaps blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say definitely some blackmail along the way. These evil people work in very evil ways, and a lot of us don't really understand it. But, like you said, where there's power, there's greed, there's corruption, and, a lot of people after money. And I think at the end of the day, Epstein was working for them, really.
Stop.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
Many times.
And what was your relationship like with her when all this was going on?
I was just very nervous of her because I was actually told that she was Epstein's girlfriend. So it was like, it just made the whole situation even worse, where I'm like getting taken to this man's room and other girls are being taken there. And then he has suddenly the girlfriend. It was just too much for me to handle. But it was quite clear that she was a big part of the operation. They were working together. If anyone was in charge, I would have said it was her, not him, in fact, because she was far more educated. She was, more eloquent, like very, very, a very well-educated woman. Epstein was a more sort of simple guy.
Obviously didn't have the education to be an Ivy League math teacher or any type of math teacher, in my opinion. I mean, mind your words, Sheila. I'm trying to really be nice. And we had a visit from Lola. She's in and out. So
recently, Ghislaine Maxwell was moved to a lower security camp-like federal prison, where by all accounts she has privileges not generally rewarded to somebody who's been convicted of human trafficking. How does that sit with you when you see that kind of preferential treatment being given to somebody who who has been convicted of this level of human trafficking?
Well, I think if she was going to be given that level of comfort, she should name some names, right? You know, it's all about naming names and keeping quiet.
Okay. So if she, see y'all, again, Rubber Ramada Reviews, we kind of watch these a little blindly and we talk about it. So now if she's saying that, so does she feel like, now if I had an interview with her, knowing what I know now, so if Ghislaine speaks and gives names, ma'am, are you okay if President Trump commutes her sentence? Oh, I don't think you'd be okay with that. I really don't. I really don't think she'd be okay with that.
Of human trafficking.
Well, I think if she was going to be given that level of comfort, she should name some names, right? You know, it's all about naming names and keeping quiet. But then again, I can understand why she hasn't been able to name names, because guess what? The media won't name names. This is why I've got my account on X, and I can't tell you how many times I've been blocked. You know, that's why a lot of the other victims can't name names. They can't speak because they don't have any following on X. They don't, you know, a lot of people, you know, I used to have an e-commerce business, so I have a bit of knowledge of algorithms and things. A lot of these girls don't understand how to actually get their stories out there, and they're also very frightened. They live in America. You know, if I was in America, I'd be a lot more scared. But basically, like, a lot of people can't really speak out. Like, even with Maxwell, how can she speak out if the news is going to block it all? You know, how's she going to speak out if the news won't put it there? Even though her family used to own the media, right? So I'm sure she could make a plan. But anyway, if the news won't put it there, then how do you get it there? And that's why I also speak out, because, you know, coming from a place like Africa, what about all the other people who get murdered and abused and raped, and they can't even speak out? If an Epstein victim can't speak out on the news, then how can anyone speak out on the fucking news? Sorry to swear.
You know, there was a massive financial settlement from the Epstein estate to many of the victims. Does that make any of this better? Does that provide any sense of justice in your mind?
I'm very grateful that I was given a settlement, because it's also afforded me the time to step off the hamster wheel of life and do more research.
Exactly. I was sure thinking that, Hio. I would sure let her talk. She could sure come spill her truth over here. And open platform, I'm very happy. You know, I mean, I know you're being a smart ass, but hey, let me tell you, you want to come talk about it? I'm all ears, because, you know, we all need that spot in our life, that moment to know we're okay, and it's okay to talk about it. Like I said, I didn't get my voice until I was 48 years old. It was for other reasons, but it was 48. I was 48. I don't ever want anybody to wait that long before they get a voice. And these women are survivors. And I'm glad they have their voice and they are being heard and we're listening.
I'm very grateful for that. But, you know, for me, it's not about money. For me, it's about seeing these perpetrators put in jail. You know, stop it. Just to get them to stop hurting people. You know, because I had a lawsuit against the Epstein estate, but I was very much told that I couldn't go ahead with my lawsuit. There was a whole lot of names on this document. But I was advised not to go ahead with the lawsuit. And I told them, I said, I don't care about the money. I want these people caught. But I was told that it would have been thrown out due to the statutes of limitations. Unfortunately, I don't know if that's really true, and I should have gone ahead with it.
But you were a part of this settlement, and as you mentioned, that's helpful to you. But does it represent justice, given everything that you were put through by this man?
No. It's helped me a lot, and I'm sure many other victims. But the thing is also, when girls are feeling in such a mess, when they've been through so much stress, how are they supposed to even handle money? You know, it's not very easy, is it? And I think also that the public have become victims of this now also. So the money paid to the victims doesn't give me any happiness. It gives me happiness that the victims are sorted and looked after in a way. But what about the public? What about the rest of the people who've been lied to? They need to, like, we've all become victims of this, and they've lied, and it's enough. You know, money can.
Exactly. They've all become victims of this, and they have lied and lied and lied. Where's that line? Who's going to draw that line in the sand and say, we're not doing this anymore? We're not taking this anymore. We're going to stand up. We're going to speak. We are going to scream from the top of our lungs.
Help a little, but it's not about money. It's about justice. It's about children not being hurt. That's what it's about.
What did Jeffrey Epstein and his cronies take away from you, Juliet?
You know, they took my innocence, but they can never take my soul. They'll never take anything from me. They tried to mess up my life. They tried to hurt me like they hurt many other people. But what really healed me is also the amazing people in the world who really care. I've had so many kind people helping and caring, and that's really brought me back to myself. And just thank you to everyone for that.
And why is it so important for you to continue to speak out about this? And on one hand, it seems like we know a lot about Jeffrey Epstein, or as much as there is to know, but every week it seems there are more disturbing revelations. Do you ever think we'll get to the bottom of this?
I think it's happening slowly but surely. Like I've said before, I think if the full truth came out, it would break a lot of people's brains because, you know, it's a lot more convoluted and frightening than what most people realize. This is not just simple sex trafficking, and sex trafficking is a disgusting crime, but it goes a lot deeper than that. These criminals have many branches to their organizations. And I just think that the more of us who speak out, the more that we create our own media, like, you know, that's why I've been grateful having X to speak out. I think the more people who speak out and share information, the better, because apparently the media do not want to interview victims of horrendous crimes. And I think the media should do their...
Right. Nobody wants to interview him. Why? We can't speak up. Nobody wants to listen to him. No, the media didn't want to interview him. And where does she go now? She went to a YouTube creator. She needed to voice it somewhere.
Job properly and start interviewing the victims.
You've kept a diary about all this, and it is the basis for a book that is due out soon called Blue Butterfly. Why was keeping a diary so important, and what do you hope this book achieves?
The thing is, I didn't actually I have my diary from that year, but I wasn't writing things down daily, but I did write a few things down. Like when I met Epstein, I'm not like one of those people who writes long journals in a diary, but the author has chosen to write it like that because of my diary with the blue butterfly on the front. I just hope that more and more truth comes out, you know, soon. And yeah, the book will be coming out soon. But again, there's a lot more information that needs to be shared other than just the book. You know, there's a lot more information. And yeah, I just hope that everyone does their own research. I think that's the best advice I can give anyone here is do your own research.
That is the best advice. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions. Again, this, as my channel, we're a review channel. I listen to all opposing sides. We're open. We just discuss things. So thank you all for being here.
You know, when you read something online, don't take it for fact. Go and fact check it. And not just once, fact check it 3 times, 5 times. Do proper research. And, you know, my friend who's written the book, she's done some proper research. And her book is very much about the scientific side of things. You know, there's also the spiritual side of things. But I just think the more and more people who do research and also just start realizing that we've been lied to through the media, you know, I think that's the way to make the world a better place, is to realize that we've been very much lied to.
Do you think there's a way that all these very wealthy, powerful, smart people were actually tricked by a college dropout, Jeffrey Epstein?
No, absolutely.
I will address your question, Raymond. Yes, she said at the very beginning of this, she was taken to the island, and then she was taken to Zorro Ranch. So, yes, she was on the island. There's nowhere in court documents or anywhere that says that Bill Gates was associated with any of this. Epstein reached out to him, do some philanthropic work, and he declined. So that's where he comes in on the list being in the files. Thank you for that, Abraham.
You're not. These guys are all criminals. Like when you get one criminal, like Sopranos, was Tony Soprano the only criminal? No, it's all of them. It's the band. They come together. They're greedy. They want the money. You can't just blame one person. There's always a group, and you need to look for the group. And that's what we need to look for here as Epstein's boss.
You know, there's been talk about him being an intelligence agent for Mossad and things like that. Do you believe any of that?
Well, Epstein told me he worked with the CIA, so very much I believe it because, you know, CIA and Mossad are very, they're connected. Like Robert Maxwell and Leslie Wexner apparently both worked for the Mossad CIA in the 80s. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on with, you know, that we're not made aware of with these bastards and their criminal organizations, like bringing in drugs, human trafficking. You know, there's a lot of money in drugs and human organs and babies, by the way, guys. You know, follow the money. And yeah, JP Morgan, there was $1 billion worth of human trafficking transactions between there and Epstein Morgan's.
Wait. She started talking fast and I was talking. Wait, what?
And babies, by the way, guys. You know, follow the money. And yeah, JP Morgan, there was $1 billion worth of human trafficking transactions between there and Epstein Morgan's accounts. I mean, between JP Morgan and Epstein's accounts, $1 billion worth of human trafficking transactions. I think that should be highlighted. And I think people need to look into it because human trafficking transactions, $1 billion, Epstein, JP Morgan.
Do you ever think we'll get to the bottom of this? Do you ever think we'll know, Juliet, the exact truth, the exact source of Epstein's power?
I think it's starting to come out more and more, but I think the problem is the more and more it comes out, the more and more they try to hurt humanity, like with COVID and things like that. So the problem is they don't want this being exposed. So I think it's trickling out. It's trickling, and you know when something starts trickling, eventually it plummets and falls. It'll all come out. It will.
And do you think Ghislaine Maxwell is the one who knows all, who could solve a lot of these mysteries, answer a lot of these questions? It would seem she is.
She'll know a lot for sure. She will definitely know a lot. But again, like I was saying, if the media won't interview me or other victims, well, are they going to necessarily interview Maxwell of what she has to say? You know, apparently Jeffrey Epstein was about to name names. That's why he got killed. You know, are they going to interview people who are going to name names? No, they're not going to.
She has a point with that. They're not going to interview people that are going to name names. Why would they do that? I mean, your secret's safe with me in a redacted file.
Do you believe Jeffrey?
She might want to name them to get out of prison. You know, if I were her, I would name them and get out.
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein actually committed suicide?
I think no, definitely not suicide. It's either murder or he's alive somewhere. And
Hio, hello, Hio. Did we not just have this conversation? Ooh, 2 hours ago. Let's go back 2 hours.
Recently I was feeling like a doubt.
Do you think Jeffrey Epstein actually committed suicide?
I think no, definitely not suicide. It's either murder or he's alive somewhere. And recently I was feeling like he's still alive, but now I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure. The thing is, it definitely wasn't suicide. Absolutely not. That man would never kill himself. He was a megalomaniac. Megalomaniacs don't commit suicide.
That's an interesting point. I mean, everything I've seen obviously indicates that it was a suicide. But, you know, again, I'm not the expert on this. And there are plenty of skeptics on the suicide story. I guess this is one of those things that creates this enduring mystery. Juliet, there's so much to this case, and we've taken a pretty good crack at it here. But is there anything else, for this conversation at least, that you want people to know about what happened to you and about the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy?
Thanks so much, Chris. Well, I think you've done an amazing job of covering pretty much everything. And if you ever wanted to follow up, I'm always willing to come on. If any of the guests have questions, please send them to Chris. But I think most importantly, the thing is that more victims need to speak out here, because a lot of the victims are frightened to speak out. A lot of them are not able to. A lot of people have had to sign agreements giving away their freedom of speech. But there's certain ways you can speak out, and I just think the more people who speak out, the better. Because if we don't speak out, then who will? And it's not just about the victims, it's about the public as well. It's about everyone right now, because it's really hurt people's minds. It's hurt people's heads. It's been such a horrible lie, everything that's been going on. And I think the more people who speak out, the better. And the more pieces of the puzzle that come together, the better. And thank you, Chris, for helping to put the pieces of the puzzle
Well, thank
together.
you, Juliet Bryant, for having a seat with me. I appreciate it. You take care of yourself over there in South Africa, and we will stay in touch, I promise, okay?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris.
So, wow. Okay. So, my order of tabs, y'all. If you are new here, we take a breather. We take a comedy break. We take a breather break, and chill for just a second. And then I have one more very short. It is only, I think it's 40 minutes long. Actually, I think what we're going to do is, I think at this point, we've been here for 2 hours. I think we're going to cut this tonight. We will play our little fun puppies.
Again this week,
Y'all
here
know
are my top
I'm a
5.
dog freak.
At number 5, we have a very sleepy lab.
Yes. We're going to do our 5 pups of the week, and then we're going to go for the night, and we will pick back up. I may do a pop-up live over the weekend. We got Sleepy Dog over here. So be sure to turn your notifications on, sub up to the
At
channel.
number 4, we
all
have
that
Digit.
fun
She has a
stuff.
ramp to get onto the couch, and her human forgot to put it back after cleaning. At number 3, we have a tie between Kaiser, who was literally made for the snow,
Look at that beautiful baby.
and Bean, who was very much not.
Oh no, he's stuck. Oh, he can't even get through the snow. Bless his heart. They're cute, guys.
I'm sorry about this
We
next
have
one.
to
At
end
number
on a
2,
little
we have a
happy
reunion
note.
between a man
Just
and his
relax,
German Shepherd who
calm
have been
yourselves
apart
down.
for 3 years. In the time he was gone, the dog lost his vision.
Aww.
Ay, mi niño. Hola, mi niño. Hola, mi gordito. Hola.
Called him a gordito. Called him a gordito.
Gordo. Gordo. Ay.
Before we get to our number 1 dog of the week, a reminder that we're partnered with the Farmer's Dog and can get you 60% off your dog's first order through the link in our bio. I started my dog and always make sure to save some in his beer diet out there. He is a professionally trained bed bug detector. He performs routine inspections at apartment buildings, libraries, hotels, and senior care facilities, or when someone moves to a new place and they just want peace of mind. It's a perfect job for him because we're pretty sure nobody has ever been this excited to find bugs.
The only one out here that's okay to find bed bugs is the dog.
Sit. You gotta sit. Yes, good boy.
Okay, so with that, I want to let you all know I appreciated today's stream. I've had a good time. I'm learning new things, and always remember, spay and neuter your pets. And yes, it is Spay and Neuter Pet Month. I do believe, I think you're right on that, Content Angel. Y'all know I totally believe in spay and neuter. We have learned a lesson in the Rubber Ramada pond. I appreciate every one of you being here, and remember, I've learned this thing that if you click up here, click up here, and something will pop up on if you're on a replay crew. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Till I see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Rubber out. Not tomorrow. It'll be soon though. I promise.
Life's a ride.